video is a first impressions video on the Estee Lauder concealer. It's so funny because the foundation was so popular because of the giant shade range that they had for, I don't know if it was a really long time or like they relaunched, but all I know is for years I was able to find my shade in a few different options for my skin tone depending on if I was darker or lighter or whatever. So I think that's why I got so much popularity, and little did I know they even had a concealer. So I felt like it was so necessary to film the concealer to go alongside obviously the foundation. So we're gonna get right into this video. So the Stay in Place Double Wear Concealer is $28 USD. I feel like that's pretty standard given where like NARS is and a lot of other brands that kind of compete on the same scale as them. They're not as expensive as some higher end brands, which is very nice and refreshing for those of us who have to pay for all this makeup. But I felt that it was pretty reasonably priced given the size and the quantity. And just to get into that, the size of it is, I feel like the standard tube that I always get from all my other foundation, all my other concealers that I have as well. What I will say is that what I got, I'll leave a little snippet because it kind of is now mixed, but I can see it from here because all the lighting is against it, but it's about this much product. I would say definitely double check before you purchase it if you're purchasing it in store, because I don't know why that happened. I don't know if it was like a defect. So I'm just about to film this and I just noticed this big gap in this concealer, and I'm actually not very happy about that. I don't know if it was like a defect, but I'm losing at least a quarter of product. And if you look in there, I don't know if it'll like zoom in, but it's like sinking. I don't know, I'm already not a fan. The same thing happened when I ordered my Kylie Cosmetics concealer. I know they're not gonna like fill it to the brim because you have to be able to fit your stick in it and whatever, but technically speaking, it should at least be a little bit higher. I never had this problem with any other concealers, and why I noticed it was definitely not me was because when I got my Kylie Cosmetics concealer, I had gotten a bunch of other shade ranges and none of the other shades did that. They were actually full. So I think I got a defective one, so I will say just be cautious and double check before you purchase. So the application process was actually very, very pleasantly surprising. So the foundation itself, the Stay in Place foundation, is Double Wear Stay in Place foundation, is a bit of a drier foundation. So when you're applying a concealer, it really, I feel like it kind of sucks the product in, but it stays in place, I will say that. So it does. Definitely, the name does it justice. So I was kind of concerned about the concealer and how it would apply, as well as the color, but I'll get into that in a few moments. So during the application process, I noticed that I put as much concealer as I normally would with my other products. Like when you guys see me like 1,000 times I've used the NARS Creamy Concealer in many videos, I put the same amount that I normally would put, but I felt like it didn't reach as many areas. I felt like it was a very, very light coverage concealer. It is not medium to heavyweight in my opinion. I felt like I look so flawless because it is very lightweight. At the moment I was like, oh my god, is my sponge just taking more product than necessary? But I feel like it just dried really quickly in a sense, and also it just was very light. It's just a very lightweight foundation. Very lightweight concealer. So the color was one of the most important things I needed to touch on with this particular product. The color range looks so bad when you go online. I was like, girl, like there's nothing offered on this on Sephora. But I will say too is Estee Lauder, their shade ranges depend on the country that you're in, and I was shopping for Canada, so that could have also been a reason. But for people of my skin tone, I was like, there's one option, like that's really, really peculiar, especially because they have such a good shade range for their foundations. So when I saw it in the tube as well, I was like, girl, this looks really weird. I swatched it on my hand, I still was like, this looks really weird. But the moment I started to blend into my face, I think because it's lightweight and how it's spread, it really worked well with my foundation. I felt like it looks really, really good. I don't think it's too light or anything like that. I think the undertone color as well is perfect. It looked like a very good mix between a yellow and a red, so very neutral, which is good for my skin tone and for the undertones that work well on my face. So the color was really shocking. It was really weird. My research online, my research in store, I was just like, this is off. This is weird. But when you pair it with the foundation, it actually looks really, really good. It was pleasantly surprising. Weirdly enough, pleasantly surprising. So this isn't a new product. I feel like it's available everywhere. I got it in my local Sephora, so I feel like anybody could get it. You could definitely get it online as well. What I will say is, like I don't know if you guys have watched my foundation review, but I will leave a link about it. But when I had purchased it, the foundation when I was in South Africa, the shade ranges were a lot more, given obviously you're in Africa, and I feel like maybe there are a lot more shade ranges for the concealer there. I didn't do the research for the concealer online in an effort to see availability in terms of beyond Sephora, or yeah, pretty much Sephora, because that's the only place I shop. But if you're looking for Sephora, you're looking for your points like me, it is very, very much available in local stores. So I felt like this was such a staple concealer, and that's why I really wanted to do a first impression / review on it. And I just feel like I wanted to get really into the base of having a lot of like foundations and concealers across the board that are available for my skin tone, especially obviously, and different skin types, whether you're oily or dry, whatever. I just wanted to be like the library for all that. So I felt it was so necessary for me to review this concealer and for it to be available on my channel for people to reference. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will check you guys in my video tomorrow. Bye, loves.